July 4th celebration unlike any you've ever seen. Hundreds of drones will light up the sky instead of traditional fireworks. And it's happening across the nation this year. This was the July 4th celebration in Salt Lake City on Sunday. The boom and crack of pyrotechnics replaced by synchronized drones. City officials were concerned that fireworks would spark wildfires.
Happy
In terms
July
of
4th,
fireworks
everybody,
during a season
and
like
welcome to the Esteban Hour. I'm your host, Esteban, and today I wish everyone is enjoying the day. Perhaps taking a little R&R, which is some rest and relaxation, but definitely doing what you want today. Now, I'm not sure if I like the new drone system. Fireworks has been the core of the July 4th holiday for decades, but it is what it is. Today, I wanted to take a little time to talk about Independence Day and our freedoms, what it means to us. There are a lot of political problems that's going on in the United States today. Problems that are causing people not to believe in freedom and not to believe in independence, which is what July 4th is all about. Certainly, Independence Day, which is what we're actually celebrating today, commemorates the adoption of the Declaration of Independence by the United States, thereby declaring our country's freedom from Britain's rule back in 1776. However, in recent years, the United States has experienced various political problems that's led some people to question or even to lose faith in the ideals of freedom and independence. Today, I wanted to discuss a few of those problems, a few of those issues. First, partisan divisions. Political polarization has been seen at unprecedented levels in the United States. Deep ideological divides have made it difficult for people with differing opinions, therefore, to engage in productive discussions. This polarization has led to a lack of trust and a sense of disillusionment among the populace. Then there's social inequality. Income inequality, racial disparities, and other forms of social inequality, well, they've become prominent issues in our American society. Many argue that systemic factors, they hinder equal opportunities. They restrict individual freedoms. In turn, this has caused some to question the notion of true independence and freedom for all. Then there's political corruption, which is allegations of political corruption and the influence of money that's in politics. It's eroded the public trust totally. The perception that certain politicians prioritize personal gain over the well-being of what the nation has fueled skepticism among the populace. This has definitely cast a shadow on the idea of a government that works in the best interest of its citizens. Then we have voting rights and democracy. Efforts to restrict voting rights have been rampant in some states, and it's raised concerns about the integrity of our democratic process. Such measures, combined with gerrymandering and the influence of special interest groups, well, they've led to disillusionment among American citizens. American citizens who feel their voices are not being heard or that the system is rigged. Then there's lack of progress on key issues. There are some people that feel that the government has not adequately addressed pressing issues such as climate change, healthcare, and income inequality. The perception of a stagnant or ineffective political system can definitely undermine the confidence in the ability to achieve meaningful change and progress. It's important to note these issues are complex and multifaceted, and opinions on them, well, they vary widely. While these challenges exist, Independence Day also serves as a reminder to us all of the ongoing struggle to uphold the values of freedom, inequality, and justice for all. Many Americans continue to work towards a more inclusive and equitable society, using this day as an opportunity to reflect on the nation's progress and envision a better future. Polarizing political rhetoric is another one. The use of inflammatory language and divisive rhetoric by politicians, it's only further fueled political tensions and hindered constructive dialogue. The focus on political attacks and partisan point scoring often they often overshadow substantive policy discussions, thereby making it difficult for people to believe in the ideals of unity and common purpose. Then there's a lack of trust in our institutions. I mean, really, a lack of trust. Trust in institutions such as our government, such as the media, and even the justice system, like the Supreme Court just this past week, has declined in recent years. Instances of perceived corruption, misinformation, and bias have eroded public confidence, thereby leading some individuals to question the foundations of democracy and the principles upon which the nation was built. Media fragmentation and misinformation is also another one. My God. The proliferation of biased news sources, social media echo chambers, and the spread of complete misinformation on all have contributed to a highly polarized information landscape. I mean, it's crazy. This has made it challenging for many individuals to access accurate and objective information, again, leading to a further breakdown in trust and a distorted perception of what is reality. Then we have the racial and social injustice, ongoing issues of racial inequality, police brutality, and social injustice, things we've been going through for decades. They've all sparked widespread protest, and we see this. Protests and debates about the fairness and inclusivity of the American system. These struggles have led many individuals to question whether the promise of freedom and equality truly extends to all members of our society. Yes. Then there's foreign interference and cybersecurity. There's been concerns about foreign interference in our elections and cyber attacks on critical infrastructure. Well, they've raised doubts as well about about the integrity and security of the democratic process. Such actions undermine confidence in the ability to maintain a free and independent nation. I mean, it really does. And while these challenges can be disheartening, it's important to remember that Independence Day also serves as a reminder of the resilience and collective effort required to overcome these obstacles, and also strive for a more perfect union. Many Americans, we continue to work towards addressing these issues, advocating for positive change, and upholding the values of freedom and independence. The values of freedom and independence that our nation aspires to embody. Then we know we have gun control. and the many, many mass shootings. The issue around gun control has been a source of heated debate in the United States, and we know this, and it's getting worse. The frequency of mass shootings and the inability to pass significant gun control legislation have left many, many feeling frustrated. Not just frustration, but concerned about public safety. This has led to the questioning of the effectiveness of the government in addressing the critical issue. Then we have immigration. What about the immigration policy and border security? Immigration policies and border security have been a contentious topic in the United States for decades. Debates over immigration reform, the treatment of undocumented immigrants, and the construction of a border wall, they've all exposed deep divisions, very deep divisions among us Americans. Such debates challenge the ideals of inclusivity, diversity, and equality that Independence Day represents today. Yes. We also have healthcare access and affordability, as mentioned before. The accessibility and affordability of healthcare has been a contentious issue for too long. Disagreement over the healthcare reform, the rising costs of of medical care, and disparities in access to the quality of that healthcare it's led some to question the extent of individual freedoms and independence in a system that can leave many without adequate care. It's bad. It's wrong. Then we have climate change and environmental policy. The debate over climate change and the response to environmental challenges, they've become politically charged. Totally politically charged. Differences in opinion on the severity of climate change, the role of government regulation, and the prioritization of economic interests have all caused some to question the commitment to a sustainable future. And not just that, the protection of natural resources as well. Then there's international relations and global influence around the world. There are shifts in global power dynamics and evolving international relations that's led to uncertainties about the role of our United States on a global world stage. Disagreements over foreign policy, trade agreements, and alliances have all raised concerns about the nation's ability to maintain its independence and protect its interest in an increasingly interconnected world, like Russia, China. These political problems, they highlight the complex and evolving nature of governments and social challenges in the United States. And while they can contribute to skepticism and doubts about today, Independence Day, they also underscore the ongoing need for civic engagement, dialogue, and also collective action. Collective action to address these issues and to uphold the principles of freedom, justice, and independence. Then we have the issue of our criminal justice system and mass incarceration. The criminal justice system in the United States has long faced criticism for such issues such as racial disparities, harsh sentencing, and the high rates of those being incarcerated. Many view these problems as hindrances to the principles of fairness, equal treatment under the law, thereby challenging the notion of true independence and justice. What about income and wealth? Yes, income and wealth inequality here in the United States. The significant wealth gap in the U.S. has sparked much concern about economic fairness and social mobility. The concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a few can only undermine the idea of equal opportunity and also hinder the pursuit of independence, our independence. Independence for individuals from disadvantaged backgrounds. I mean, come on, come on. Then going back to the healthcare system and access to that healthcare system. The U.S. healthcare system has been a subject of ongoing debate and discontent. We know this. High costs, lack of universal coverage, and disparities in access to quality care. They've all led many to question again the extent of our freedom and independence, leaving individuals to have to worry about managing their healthcare needs. What about education disparities? There are inequalities in the education system as well, particularly in underfunded schools and marginalized communities. This also has raised questions about equal access to quality education. Limited opportunities and resources can hinder individuals' ability to achieve their full potential and exercise their independence. And the new ruling from the Supreme Court on affirmative action is not making it any better. Political influence on special interest groups. Also, the influence of these groups, including corporations and wealthy donors, on political decision making. Believe it or not, they've raised concerns about the integrity of the democratic process. Yes, they have. Some argue that this influence undermines the voice and the will of ordinary citizens, thereby eroding the trust in our government and our government's ability to represent the interest of the people, not the corporations. These are just a few of the additional political problems that have impacted people's perceptions on freedom and on independence here in the United States. It's important to recognize and address these challenges every day, thereby in order to build a society that upholds the principles of liberty, equality, and justice for all. I hope everyone watching can benefit from these words today and ponder on what it's like to be free and not to be free. Don't ever take for granted what we have, because we can most certainly lose it. Like we've lost women's rights, affirmative action rights, voting rights, and possibly the freedom to love whom you wish. I love you all. Please share the live to your friends and family, and I hope to see you at the next show on the Esteban Hour. If you have a goal or an achievement that you've accomplished, don't forget to say to yourself, this is how we do it.